Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance, and this is another amazing game from FIDE 2025. With the white pieces, we have one of the most humble guy, one of the most amazing players, and an absolute legend, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. And with the black pieces, we have Marc'Andria Maurizzi. He's a very strong grandmaster from France. So here, both players actually know each other, and definitely, they have to be very careful because when you know about someone, it could go, the way you don't want it to. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Maxime starts with e4. We have c6 going for the Caro-Kann defense, d4, d5, e5 now, bishop to f5, and knight to f3. Nice decision actually to go for Caro-Kann, because I don't think you should go for you should go for Sicilian against someone of Maxime's caliber, if you know what I mean. He plays the knight off absolutely perfectly. Here e6, bishop to e2, knight to e7, and castles. Now we have c5, finally trying to transpose this variation into somewhat of a weird friend setup. But here just we have bishop to e3, knight e to c6, and now just going for this c3, knight to d7 now, a3, and just bishop to e7. And in this position, a very nice b4. Maxime just pushes the pawn, advances it, and now asks black a question: what do you want to do? Because here either I capture it and I'll have an amazing pawn structure, or if you capture and you make a committal decision on to where you want the position to go to. And if you play a move like c4 trying to advance it, I think it's giving white a bit too much. But if you play b5, then you lose your advantage, because here after knight to a5, knight bd2, and here castles. That knight on the rim seems like it's a problem, but it's keeping your pieces here constricted, because you have to keep the knight here in order to, whenever that knight lands, it's going to be very powerful, and you don't want that to happen with the really nice pawn chain here. So here in this position after b4, we have c captures by black, and c captures and just castles. And Maxime goes for knight bd2, just developing moves, rook to c8, rook to c1, and just a6. So he's not a6 with the idea that you don't want to allow b5 to ever kick out your knight, because your knight doesn't seem to have that many squares, and knight to a5 just keeps it on the rim. So here we have knight to b3 now, b5, and just knight to c5. That knight on c5 is an absolute monster, and Maxime here has conjured himself a very nice monster here. Knight to b6 was played by Marc'Andria, and here we have knight captures, knight to c4, and just a4. a4 is a very nice inclusion to this line, because here knight captures was played, knight captures, bishop captures, and now just going for this very nice queen, targeting both of these pieces. But now just comes this bishop to a3. Now knight is defending it, rook is defending the knight, pawns are also guarding it, everything is absolutely fine. And if you're thinking maybe you can do some things in this position where you can try and save up your rook, it's just not the way to play chess, because you have to understand all of these bishops are just eyeing and looking at your rook here, like absolute jackals here, and you cannot do anything in this position. The best thing that you can do is, even if you try to go for rook to c3 to try and save your position, then just comes b4. And yeah, this is not a way to do anything. There is no more squares that's left for the rook. What are you going to do here? Either you just give it up now, or you just better yet give it up later, because now even if you go for this line, this does not favor you at all. So here in this position, Maxime realizes this, and he goes for rook captures on c4, sacrificing the exchange. Well, not really sacrificing the exchange, because here after d captures, he gets two pieces for the exchange. But here Marc'Andria absolutely loves his position, simply because of the fact that he has now two connected pass pawns, and that's going to be really strong, because you cannot do much with this pass pawn. It looks scary, but you cannot do much with this pass pawn, because here queen to a5 was played, and you understand what I mean now. Because now d5, but after b4 we have queen to b2 and e captures, and this is very scary. Once you look at it, you realize this is very scary. Engine evaluation is like, bro, I can hold this pawn structure, you give me just like few microseconds. But for a human, this looks scary. Here knight to d4 now, just trying to just stop that pass pawn from ever advancing, and we have bishop to d7. And finally in this position, Maxime tries to make some room for his pieces. He goes f4, and now in this position, what do you even do? You cannot you can, if you want to push, the right way to push these pawns is b3. And to realize why b3 is important is because you're covering the c3 square. Bishop can capture the a4 pawn in the future, and somewhere along the line, with the rook's protection, with the queen's guarding, you're going to be able to push those pawns. What you don't want to do is push c3, and which is exactly what Marc'Andria does in this position, because it doesn't make sense. How are you ever going to advance now? Because in that structure, you have a fantastic structure. Somewhere along the line, you are going to be able to push it, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. But instead, you choose to go for a different line, and it just doesn't work out, because now you're going to have to at least have two tempos to be able to gain access to that square, and you cannot push this pawn all the way, and that's going to be very annoying. And you'll see what I mean. Rook to b queen to b1 was played, but just bishop caps on a4 now, bishop to d3, g6, and just f5. Nonetheless, we have b3, queen to e1, Queen to e1 is a very nice inclusion to these lines by Maxime, because now here queen to c7 was played trying to help out with the defense, but it just completely blunders the game. But Maxime needs to find just one move, and I'm gonna ask you to pause the video and try and find out this move. It's an amazing attacking move, so have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is this very nice queen to h4. That's right, because now you cannot do anything in this position. Even if you choose to even go for a move like c2 in this position, that just completely blunders the game, thinking that I'm going to be pushing that pass pawn to complete queen. But here queen to h6, and now what do? F6 is coming next. You're gonna get mated. There is nothing you can do. If you want to actually stop that, you have to play f6. But now comes this very nice move. We have knight to e6, attacking the queen, attacking the rook. There is nothing you can do here. Queen to f7 if you play. Now comes this f captures, and yeah, this is just very, very dirty. If you go for this, then this is checkmate. So you cannot do anything in this position. You have to play h captures. But now just comes bishop captures on g6. Queen is attacked, and you have to keep it on this line to try and prevent checkmate for as long as possible. But it's still a mate in 11. There is nothing you can do. Mate starts with knight captures. You can calculate that yourself. This is a very nice practice. Just 11 moves, find it out. And here in this position, after queen to c7, Maxime could not find queen to h4. Instead, he went bishop to h6. And now, unfortunately for Maxime, it's a draw. It's not a lost position, it's a draw. But still, you need to play it precisely. Here, just c2. And now it looks scary, because now those pawns are marching forward. You have to find the nice better resource in this position, and you don't have that. Queen to b4 was played by Maxime, but yes, it blunders the game. And just queen captures on e4 e5. Here just another lifeline that was given to Maxime. He needs to find the right moves, but here just queen caps on a4. Maxime finds it, and now just rook to c4. He thought that maybe he'd be able to do something in this position, but it doesn't work out. Here knight to c6 was tried by Maxime, and it's still a draw. Rook caps on a4, knight caps on e5, and rook to c8. And it looks like, you're just promoting. How do you even stop these pawns? But you can stop these pawns, and there is nothing that even actually black can do about it. The move that you want to play in this position is f captures on g6, and you cannot even push this pawns now. Otherwise, you're just getting checkmated with all these knight and the bishop actually covering your king. It's just very, very scary. You don't want to actually play in between move like that. So here, let's say you play f captures, but that just blunders the game completely, because what you want to see is bishop is already covering this, and this is a checkmate. So all you want to do is divert the rook away from here, away from the back rank file, and you'll be absolutely fine. And how do you do it? You play knight to c6, because now you cannot capture. If you capture, then this is checkmate. So you have to be careful. Now what do? You have to cover this, because this is a very, very nice, amazing fork. So here, what do? You just get the rook here, try to cover that square, but unfortunately knight to e7 check nonetheless, because you cannot capture this. This is getting checkmated. And here after king to h8, now you play this beautiful rook to f7, and there is nothing you can do in this position. And even if you try to, the only move in this position is c1 queen basically, and you have to give it up. And now comes rook blocks, and it seems like maybe you're losing a lot of material, because yes, this is coming with a check. How do you stop it? Well, just rook moves back, and there is nothing you can do. If you go for this very nice rook caps on e7, then this completely amazingly just wins me a complete rook. So I'll be very happy, thank you very much. But instead, if you go for this rook caps on c1, which is the right move, you go rook captures, and you'll have 2 pawns for the pieces. Not enough compensation. They're not even connected pawns, so it's just going to be completely lost for you. And this was the thing. But here after f captures, it's not lost position, it's actually a draw. So how do you draw this? You go for h captures. You don't allow the line to be open up, and yes, now it's a draw, because you cannot push this. Bishop is guarding this. You cannot push this, because I'll just capture this, and I mean, somewhere on the line I'll capture that. So yeah, this is just nothing you can do in this position, and that's the move that you had to find. And I think Maxime would have been able to find this, but after rook to c8, he goes bishop to c1 to try and not allow this, and it looks like a very nice move, but unfortunately it just completely blunders the game, because now comes rook to a2, and here he found the move Marc'Andria, and he might just be able to get on top of this game, because here in this position Maxime has no counterplay, no resources, and this kind of moves does not work anymore, because your bishop is not there, and now you cannot trick your opponent anymore. But still, maybe Maxime can make a comeback. But here just f captures was played, h captures, and now just comes this bishop captures on g6, trying something. But after f captures, we have knight to d3, just guarding that bishop. Rook is guarding it, everything is fine. But now just comes this rook to a1, and it was on this move, on just move 38, that Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, one of the absolute legends, resigned the game. And here, Marc'Andria Maurizzi got this spectacular victory in 38 moves against a legend. That's the one that's going in the history books. That's one that you're going to be flexing on about, your entire life almost. Yeah, this is an absolutely amazing game. He played it to perfection. Yes, there were some roller coasters, but he played it absolutely magnificently. And I mean, he got this game victory in just 38 moves. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching.